Welcome to the IDP Hunter podcast on the IDP Center. We're going live tonight, Jamie. Once again, we're going live. We're going to talk about offensive streamers because waivers probably already happened in most leagues, right?
For the most part, yeah. Some might run tonight into tomorrow. So if you're catching this live, you might be able to catch some waivers.
I have a couple leagues like MFL, I'm still waiting for them to happen, but most of mine have happened. So I don't know your basis for streamers, but anything under 33% or less, I will kind of post them here. But anyway, heck yeah. And on that note, let's talk about the leaders on defense. Let's talk about those quarterbacks. What you got, Jamie?
For quarterbacks, so we got some news. Joe Burrow's going to be out for a while, so your priority should be Jake Browning in Superflex in 2023 as a starter from weeks 12 to 18. He averaged QB7 numbers, putting up 20 points per game on average. So that could be usable in Superflex. So streaming, so I want to cater to almost different types of leagues. Some might play in smaller league sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list my rankings outside of the top guys. Starting at QB 14, we got Daniel Jones, Michael Penix, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and Cam Ward. So that'll round out my top 20 overall. For deeper leagues, look for guys like Aaron Rodgers, Mac Jones. If Purdy's out, there is a thing that says Purdy might play. But you can just plug and play Purdy into that top 20 area if he does. But then you got Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, guys like that. They could be usable in a streaming week if you're desperate. I would stay away from the Carson Wentz, Jake Browning, maybe just this week I would stay away from just to see how he does. And then Stafford, Tua, Tyrod Taylor would be a good one, and even Spencer Rattler.
I have a question for you, Jamie. Last week you were off Daniel Jones, so it's a two-parter. Do you still feel that way? And then my second part to that question is, all of those streams that you have at quarterback, do you value Daniel Jones over any of them?
Well, yeah, I have Daniel Jones right at quarterback 14 because if you look at my top 13, you're not playing Daniel Jones over those type of guys. I didn't even write them down. Let me pull up my spreadsheet real quick. But, I mean, Josh Allen, Lamar, Hurts, Mahomes, May, Herbert, Caleb Dak, Kyler Murray, Stroud, Baker Mayfield, Knicks. There's no way I'm going to start Daniel Jones over any of those guys. I know he is QB2 on the year, but so was Derek Carr last year after 2 weeks. And look what happened to him. He fell off. Last week I was a little bit off of Daniel Jones just because of the defense he was going up against, but he proved he could put up those numbers with those rushing yards. So I'm not giving up on him yet. That's why he's right at that 14 area for me.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Any other QBs, or do we want to move on to defensive linemen?
I nailed all the QBs all the way up to the 30, I think, top 30. And I think we have a question in the chat. Would you pick up Tyrod Taylor or hope for Mariota? No, I am not playing Mariota. I would just go for Tyrod Taylor. I think he's actually he's not going to hurt the offense, the Jets offense. He actually may make the Jets offense a little bit better if you look at like his passing compared to Fields. But I think Tyrod's fine. He's got some rushing upside, and I'm not worried about Tyrod Taylor. Like I do have him low. I think he is like 29th for me. What did I say? Jake Browning, Tua, Taylor, then Spencer Rattler would be the last guys. I didn't even mention Mariota, so left him off intentionally.
Gotcha. So moving on to defensive linemen, I don't want to repeat players that we said last week. So if you guys are interested, just go back to last week's show. There were some top names. Byron Young's still out there. Carl Granson's out there. But I'm looking at streamers, and my top guy as far as defensive linemen go right now is Nick Herbig. He's only owned in 2% of leagues. He's going to play for the injured Alex Smith, Nick Herbin. For those that don't know this player, in 2022 in college when he came out, we did over the Fantasy Six Pack, we did his rookie profile. He was a top 10 pass rusher, and he had 10 sacks in college in 2022. He's continually talked about as one of the better edge defenders. He's just been on the bench. So last season in the NFL, he showed flashes when they did let him play. In fact, PFF recorded him a 91.5 pass rush grade, and he did log 2.5 sacks, Jamie, in 6 games. So with Highsmith gone, expect him to have good numbers. And he's playing the Patriots this week. So that's probably my top guy as far as DLs go this week. Rashad Gary's still out there. The rationale on him, he's going to be polar opposite of Micah Parsons. So he's going to eat. But yeah, Herbeck's probably my favorite. If you want to go a little deeper, those middle size leagues, Hassan Reddick didn't do much this week, but he went off week 1 with a sack. But he's getting 79% snaps. And he's getting 84% snaps. So that tells me they have a plan to use him. Another guy you can get those middle round league, those mid to shallow league drafts is Dorrance Armstrong. He's not the greatest. He won't wow you with the metrics, only owned in 1% of leagues. But he's the only edge player the Commanders trust. So he's logging a lot of massive snaps. And he's got great matchups coming up, like the Falcons and what have you. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in Armstrong too. You want to go even deeper than that, Joey Bosa is only owned in 7% of leagues. He's got a lot of impact plays so far. So he's only like DL 22 in big play scoring, DL 29 in 1-2-3 scoring, which is what me and you play in, Jamie. But any one of those guys, they're going to be out there for you. And then, of course, those super, super, super deep ones, it's kind of harder to get a steady defensive lineman. You can look for guys like Marcus Davenport that have upside. DT required leagues, here's a name for you. Devontae Wyatt, he's on pretty much nowhere. With Kenny Clark gone, he's going to have a bigger role. And then Milton Williams. Go ahead and look at the metrics on Milton Williams. He went off this week. He's the guy, I don't know if you guys remember, he signed in the offseason with the Patriots for that massive contract. Week 1 was kind of a little bit of a dud, 78% snaps, 3 tackles. This week with similar snaps, 69% snaps, he got 3 tackles, 2 sacks. So if you're chasing big scoring leagues, those would be my defensive tackles and defensive ends I'd be looking at. But that's all I have. What says you, Jamie?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. I like all those.
Gotcha. How about your next category? What you got, buddy?
Let's go start with the running backs. So okay. I'm going to go Brayshaw Tootin. Man, this guy's between 50 to 60% owned in the leagues that I'm in. He's not just a handcuff anymore. He's seen 25% of the snaps last week. He will get targets, and he's so electric. He can get you big plays on minimum touches. Also, Cam Scatabo, he's seen 52% of the snaps last week. He had 5 red zone carries, even had 3 targets. Tracy hasn't had a red zone carry all year, so I'm going to get Scatabo. And then Tyler Algier, the ultimate handcuff. Like, he won't see volume like he did on a weekly basis last week. But if Bijan does go down with an injury, he's going to be a league winner, and he has that top 10 to 15 upside. We've seen it even with Bijan getting 22 snaps or 22 carries. Algier still had 16 behind him. So a guy that I'm going to go after, very low owned, is Jeremy McNichols. So while people might be going after Chris Rodriguez, who will see some short yards and those goal line work, McNichols is going to be that pass catching running back who should be the 1-for-1 replacement for Eckler, who is out for the year, maybe even his career. Next, I'm going after Woody Marks on 3 carries and 1 target. He ended up with 51 yards. He's the most explosive running back in that backfield and could get more work going forward. And then lastly, if you're desperate, go with Kenneth Gainwell. He played 40 to 50% of the snaps. His routes ran were 40 to 50% of the passing downs. So some points are better than no points. That's why I'm saying if you're desperate.
Heck yeah. Hey, we had some questions pull up in the chat while you were going. One of them was for you. Let me start with Badger because I kind of missed you, buddy. I'm sorry. So who would you rather pick up, Herbeck, Dorrance Armstrong, Joey Bosa, or White? Those are good options, your DL2. Believe it or not, I looked at this and I thought this was a smart question. So thank you for leaving one. At first glance, I'm like, Leonard Williams. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going Herbeck because I want that edge upside. So for me, I'm going to go Herbeck. This is how I have them ranked. Herbeck 1, Williams 2, Bosa 3, because, the Bills, besides receiver, they don't got anything else. And then Armstrong is like on my bench, a deep shot if I don't have anything. Like those bye weeks, guys like Armstrong, Dale, Digbo, they're going to really help out. So thank you for that question, Badger. Sorry I didn't get to it in time. Houston TV said, what's good, Jamie?
What's up?
And then he's asking about linebackers, which I'll save for our next category. Do you have anybody else in your running back category? Do you want to just move on to
no, let's move on. We hit all the running backs that I'm looking to pick up.
Okay, gotcha. So here's what's interesting about this question, linebackers. I'm pretty sure Pete Werner and Demario Davis are owned in leagues, but I looked it up. There's still leagues out there where they're not owned. If you're in those 30 to 40% of leagues where these guys are rostered, more power to you. But there's a couple of leagues out there where you can still get guys like this.
So let's say I have both of them on my roster. Which one are you starting?
Yeah, we're going to get to that, James. So what's interesting is I write the linebacker article, the Every Down linebacker article, and I kind of capture where these players position themselves, like in the box, coverage, this, that, whatever. What's interesting about your question right now, Houston TV, is Pete Werner has 116 box snaps. Demario Davis has 115. That blew my mind. I was like, wait, what? How is this? Why is this? Yeah, I did not expect that when I started pulling numbers. So if you guys are interested, it's on the Fantasy Six Pack, the Every Down linebacker article. Now, it could be a lot of seasonal stuff, could be a lot of interesting stuff here. Let me talk about the case for Pete Werner for your leagues as a streamer. 92% of the snaps, Jamie, week 1. Week 2, 88.6% of snaps. 14 tackles in 2 games, a 1 sack. He traditionally is not a sack guy. He's not. He's usually just a tackle guy. This is an interesting question because it begs the question, is Pete Werner a 3-down player right now? He's usually a 2-down player. Usually it's a no-brainer. Demario Davis would be the answer. But is Pete Werner a 3-down player now is the question. I'm going to say yes, borderline. So the way I would rank these is Demario Davis is my guy. He's my 1. Pete Werner in the flex with possible potential to be in that LB2 range. Thank you for asking that question because that's something recently I just looked up and I was interested in those numbers. At linebacker, we do have a lot of developments going on. You got a lot of LB2s that won some battles. I'm not going to go over all of them because we did that last week and it's in the articles. But there are some players out there that you can pick up as LB2s. There's also some guys that have potential to be LB1s due to injury. We're going to start the Bears. The Bears have TJ Edwards, who's out. He's hurt. Noah Sewell jumped in there. He's only owned in 12% of leagues, okay? Your league mates may not be paying attention yet to Sue because last week he only had 61% of the snaps and just 4 tackles. But after Edwards went out, he got them all, as evident as the following week, the week 1, where he actually went off. You can get Sewell and a couple places too, Jamie. You can still get Eric Wilson. So those are 2 big buys for me. So I think I would rank it Sewell 1, Wilson 2, based on the injuries. Those are guys I want in those mid-ranging leagues. Small leagues, you're not going to really have anything. Maybe a Devin White and Mac Wilson. We've already talked about those guys. Deeper leagues, it gets a little bit trickier at linebacker. It really does because you're looking for the next man up. You're looking for stuff with upside. I don't have a whole lot unless you see a Cedric Gray only owned in 2% of leagues. He's been the LB2. Here's a name for you, Jamie. This will be my last one. Justin Strenard. STRNAD. That's a player I get in 32 team leagues. He's owned in 2% of leagues. He's another one of those LB2s that steps up because Greenert's been hurt. Justin Sternard, he's going to get you volume. He's going to get the tackles that Alex Singleton doesn't get. So consider him and consider many of these names as you go forward. Sternard last week, nothing special. 80%, 5 tackles, but there's a sack in there. You know what he did the following week? 67% sacks, 57% snaps, 5 tackles, 1 sack. So at least he's consistent, and those are the deep leagues. So that's all I have for linebacker, Jamie.
Awesome. Do you want to move on to receivers?
I do.
Any more questions in the chat? No, not yet. Okay, drop your questions in the chat. We'll get to them. So wide receivers. I'm going to start with the Green Bay guys. Romeo Doubs. He's only 30% owned. He's going to be the main guy right now in this offense. He's seen all the red zone targets, so that touchdown upside is real. And then we got Dontavian Wicks, only 7% owned. I seen him getting the slot snaps last week that Reed was seeing. So he could be the 1-for-1 replacement while Reed is out. So you can get him. Matthew Golden, he's 80% owned. He's not yet startable. I'm not starting him. But I also see people that could be dropping him soon. So that could be someone that you could put on the end of your bench, wait for the breakout, because the breakout is going to be coming. And this one blows my mind. Cedric Tillman, 45% rostered. What are we doing, people? I've been saying it all off season. He'll be the one in that offense you want over Judy. Like, even yesterday, I was in a chat on a podcast that I was a guest on this summer, and the host mentioned me. He gave me props for touting Cedric Tillman over Judy all offseason, and he apologized for like not being on Tillman. So go get Tillman. He needs to be up there. 45% is way too low. And then we got Wendell Robinson, man. This guy saw 8 targets in week 1, 10 targets in week 2. He's sitting right now as a top 10 wide receiver. He had back-to-back games with 25% target share. The volume is real for him. He's definitely a weekly flex option at minimum. He's not going to be top 10 every week. I'm not saying that, but he is a guy that needs to be rostered. Then you got a guy like Troy Franklin. He caught 4 or 6 targets in week 1, only played 64 snaps, or 64% of the snaps. And then he also ran 30 routes, which was a 73% rate. Then in week 2, his snap share increased to 83%. And he ran a route on 93% rate. He caught 8 of 9 targets for 89 yards and a touchdown. 3 of those targets were also in the red zone. So you could see touchdowns coming from him. He is a must-own right now. And then I love this name, this guy, just for his name, Keyshawn Booty. Like, I noticed his targets dropped from week 1, but his route percentage basically stayed the same. The Patriots didn't need to throw the ball as much with May getting those 10 rushes last week. But I think Booty had that 1 target, and he caught a touchdown with it. So I am definitely considering Booty on a week-to-week basis. And that's it for wide receivers.
You have a couple questions in here. I'm trying to get to them all. Hold on a second. So, Ravens Walker. Is he worth
Pez
an
Walker? Devontae Walker is not worth an ad. He is a flash in a pan. I talked about it yesterday on the show. And him and D-Hop, got those touchdowns. I'm not willing to even waste a roster spot on Walker. It's going to go back to Flowers, Bateman. They're going to get Andrews involved. Likely he's going to be coming back. So Walker's maybe the 5th, 6th target on that offense. No interest.
Mm-hmm. And then you had, I don't know if this is a personal statement, Choppers, or this is a question. He wants to drop Josh Downs. Any takes on?
I'm not ready to drop Downs yet. I'm going to give it a few more weeks. I'm not starting him. It's hard to start Downs until we actually see the targets, but it looks like Tyler Warren is taken away from downs, getting those like in the middle of the field passes. So give it a week or two, see what happens.
Yeah, you got another one there. Panic on Jayden Higgins.
Hey, is this a dynasty question? Because in dynasty,
Yeah.
hell no, I'm not panicking. But in redraft, I'm not really panicking because the next 3 weeks before the bye week, I want to see his usage and targets because he does have great matchups the next 3 weeks. So pay attention to those, and then you can consider dropping him if he's not getting the targets because he only got 3 targets week 1, 1 target week 2. If he doesn't see at least 5, 6 targets on a week-to-week basis the next 3 weeks, I think you could drop him.
And then there was one more. Hold on, let me pull it up here. I'm assuming this is rest of season. It's a who would you rather. Let me see here. Oh, it's
Golden Higgins are
Higgins
likely.
are likely. I'm assuming dynasty. If you want to do them both, go right ahead.
No, it's got to be redraft. Man, I'm gonna go likely just because, like I just mentioned, Golden will have an eventual breakout. Higgins, I'm nervous about. I want to see it over the next 3 weeks. But when likely does come back, he's going to get the same usage that he got last year. So give me likely.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have a question at linebacker, and this is a kind of interesting one. How much do I like Sewell is the question. And my choices are Sewell or Dennis. And that's
Or
from
Bush.
Or Bush, sorry. 3P1C fail. Sorry. Who do I like better? How do I rank them? For this week, believe it or not, Sewell and Dennis are kind of going neck and neck. Jamie, that's another guy. I haven't mentioned him on the show, Dennis, because he's been like streams, waivers all the way back in week 1. So we haven't really mentioned him. He's cutting into Dennis's time. But he's been really, really good. So it's between those two. I have Bush a little bit later, but it's between those two. I will say this: Sewell's opportunity is everything right now. So I'm going to favor him over Dennis by a hair. But as the season goes, I'm going to take Dennis over Sewell because the minute we know more about TJ Edwards or whatever, Sewell's is more, how linebacker is. It's more of a volume-based position. And thanks for asking that question. I thought that was a pretty smart question. Any one of those guys, Jamie, I'd be okay with as an LB3 drafted with LB2 upside. You know what I mean? So I like all of those guys, but I'm gonna see what I have in Sewell on that limited snap count. But don't sleep on Dennis either.
All right. Any more questions? Not yet. Yeah, drop them in if you got them.
Do you want to go? Well, do you want to go tight end? Or you want me to do defensive back next? It doesn't matter.
You can go DB.
Okay. Yeah. We've mentioned on this show before a bunch of players. We've talked to Connors. We've talked to Tyreek Hills. We've talked a bunch of DBs, and it's going to fluctuate during the season. We've talked Cam Curl. There's a guy that I want the audience to know about, and he's a rookie. And it's always great because, rookies tend to get picked on. Xavier Watt is the name. Xavier Watt is starting to show who he is. He's getting an encouraging amount of snaps, both in the box and free. Matter of fact, he has 42.6% of his plays in the box. So I'm kind of excited moving forward as far as what Watt can do. Like I told you earlier, Jamie, I do the every down linebacker. I also do the safety dance report every single week.
Love the safety dance.
Xavier Watts is featured. The last 2 weeks, he's played 43 box snaps and he's played 11 in the slot. So they're trying to put this guy everywhere they possibly can. And just to remember, if people don't know his college profile, Xavier Watts was a guy, he's a two-way sport player. We're seeing a lot of that in the modern day NFL where these guys are two-way sport players and all of a sudden they can develop into these great players. He has that potential. I mean, he's the only two-way player that I could think of that has this kind of like upper tier, not named Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? So, but he just doesn't get all the attention. He's next to All-Pro Jesse Bates. That's going to be exciting. And again, the other thing too that I like about these kind of players, they're disposable. He's playing 103%, 100 snaps, and 23 of his 58 were in the box. So I like that. And then last thing, if you don't like Watts, the case for Watts, he's got a 10.3% tackle rate. So Watts for smaller sized leagues. Jordan Battle's my next guy. You're going to look at Jordan Battle's stat line. It's nothing to really write home about. He does have interceptions back-to-back games, so that's kind of inflating his numbers. So you'll see him out there. But as far as tackles and as far as box snaps, you guys aren't seeing it yet, but you will. You will, and here's why. The case for Jordan Battle is his box snaps in 2 games, 34 box snaps. Not that many, but it's 25% of the team's overall box snaps. They just haven't been playing a lot of snaps yet. So the idea is, and I just said this over on the Fantasy and Frame show. The idea is, as the season goes and they get in these shootouts or these long playing games where the Bengals log a lot of snaps, you're going to see a lot more production out of him. You're going to see a lot of that. And let's face it, what do we have coming up this week? We got the quarterback-less Bengals, and we got the quarterback questionable Vikings. So we may see one of those grinded out, a lot of plays on the field. But Battle's a guy, and usually, Jamie, I don't throw analytic percentage over volume. He doesn't have the volume yet, but the numbers are showing me that he could be a guy. So those guys I'll play, smaller leagues to mid leagues if I need a player. Those guys excite me. Going a little bit deeper, though, because I know you guys are looking at deeper leagues. Guys like Jalen Pinnock, the team scheme favors him. We talked about Tyke Smith at other shows. How about in your deepest of deep leagues, you got Craig Woodson or Jalen Hawkins out there? I like Billy Bowman. And if you need cornerbacks, this is going to be my last part here, Jamie. If you really, really need cornerbacks, Dax Hill is always getting picked on everywhere. I'm going to give you guys a cornerback league for a cornerback required league. And this is kind of a sleeper of mine because a lot of people may not be paying attention to this name, or better yet, Jamie, he's hurt right now. He hurt his foot last week. So you may be able to get this guy. The name is Brownlee. He's a cornerback. He plays for the Titans. Again, this is in the deepest of leagues. You can get Brownlee. He's playing a lot of snaps. He's playing a lot of the snap count. He's getting a lot of tackles. Let me just pull him up real quick. Jarvis Brownlee's the name. He had 99% snaps week 1, 9 tackles. He had 87% of snaps last week, 8 tackles. I'm trying to pick him up in like my deep places, like my 32 team leagues and whatnot. I'm trying to pick him up as like a $0 waiver claim because, like, again, people don't pay attention to corners, or they're not required to play him, or it just may not be deep enough. And if you guys need a little more convincing, Brownlee was one of those Titan top cornerbacks last year as a rookie. And he's got guys like Snead on his team. He's a 5th-round pick out of Louisville. He played all 17 games, started 14 of them, and he recorded, ready for this? He recorded 75 tackles as a cornerback for the Titans. So that's one coming up if you need one. That's all I have.
Well, I think we have tight ends real quick.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
There's not many, honestly. I just want to mention Juwan Johnson. Right now, he's 75% owned. He is a must-add. He's the number 2 tight end on the season right now. Plug and play until we see otherwise. I have him ranked 11th this week, and I think he can even outproduce that. So in like a 12-team league, he's a tight end 1, top 12. Harold Fannin, 67% owned. So if you're in like a shallow league, I still think you should add this guy because he's also a top 10 tight end on the year. He dropped off slightly from week 1. However, he ran 4 more routes last week than he did in week 1. So that's a good sign that the Browns are just going to keep using him and get him more involved as the season progresses. And this guy, Jatavian Sanders, only 11% owned. So this is the guy that most people are going to go after. Go get him. He caught 7 of 9 targets for 54 yards. And 4 of those targets were in the red zone. So the touchdowns will be coming. He's getting the targets. He's seeing the volume. Go grab Jatavian Sanders. He could jump up into the top 12 at any given week. So that's it for tight ends. There's not many out there right now on the waivers that I would really want to start.
Not really glamorous, right?
Yeah. So we got another question in the chat. What do I do with Mark Andrews? Do I still hold?
Ooh, that's a Jamie question all day long.
You have to hold him. I know last year he had a slow start. It was because he had that car accident, and so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. As soon as he got healthy, I think after week 6 he was a top 5 tight end the rest of the year. So maybe he's just having a slow start. I'm still holding him, but you need to have a backup plan. So maybe go grab a Jatavian Sanders, like I mentioned, start him until we see Mark Andrews getting the targets.
All right, my friend, what do you have for bets?
Oh, I love betting. You know me. So I'm going to start with the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. The line is Eagles minus 3.5 points. I'm betting the Eagles on that minus 3.5 all day because the Eagles offense is just too damn good. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Vikings. What do we have here? We have a game where a backup quarterback is facing a backup quarterback. Plus, Aaron Jones is now injured. So I see a low-scoring game. The over-under is 41.5 total points. I'm going to take the under on that, 41.5 total points. This is a fun one. It's a 4-leg parlay at plus 293. Money lines. Take the Chargers, take the Colts, take the Bucks, and take the Packers, all winning for the money line because the Chargers are facing the Broncos, the Colts are facing the Titans, the Bucks are facing the Jets, and the Packers are going to crush the Browns. So that's an easy 4-legger for me. And if you're listening to this before the Thursday night game, just add in the Bills money line because that boosts the odds to plus 339. So right now, what do you think about those, Steve? Do you see all those teams winning?
Yeah, I mean, like winning their betting line. Yeah, I do. I love those bets. I actually got 2 IDPs and Bears matchup. Shockingly, I'm going to say over. It's over 49.5 right now combined points. I know what you're thinking. The Bears offense is bad. Well, the Cowboys defense is also bad. So what happens when a bad offense plays a bad defense? Somebody's going to have to give. I'm going to give the advantage to the Bears. I think the Bears are going to score a couple, more than a couple. They're going to get down there a couple times on the Cowboys. On the other side, the Cowboys offense, say what you want, they're not too shabby. They put up 20 points against the Eagles. They did. So they're going to get at least 20-some plus, and then the Bears are going to get 20 plus. So it should be close to that. It should be close to that combined stat line. So I'll give it the over 49.5, and then the other one I'm gonna go the over as well. Jamie, a lot of over bets, huh?
Yeah, I love Thursday night bet with the 12.5 for the Bills. I thought I wrote that down. I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
So what I did is I put it in a parlay today, and when I parlay, I like to kind of tweak them. So I put 8.5 points, but I do think they are going to win more than 12.5.
Hey, you got some wide receiver questions in here. Bronson H.A. apostrophe. I don't know how to say it, so I didn't want to. Hey-oh, there he is. Okay. Hey, he wants to know, you want to trade Cup for and DJ Moore for some JSN? I know what I would do. What's your thoughts?
I would do that.
Yeah. Deep leagues we playing, yes. Maybe small leagues, I'm not sure, but I like the idea of having JSN in my lineups. I really like that.
I would not. I don't think I would do the Cup, DJ Moore, and Daniel Jones for JSN unless you're already set at quarterback. Like if you need to throw in a Daniel Jones, just to get JSN in that deal, and you already have like a Josh Allen, a Hurts, someone like that, then yes, go ahead and throw Daniel Jones, because in a single quarterback league like this, you can go out and pick up a guy that whenever your starter is on bye, you're just wasting a roster spot with Daniel Jones on your bench. So
Hey,
yeah,
you know what?
you need to do it.
Bronson is my dude. I'm looking at his answers. You already know Bronson's an active manager. He's a wheeler and dealer, and that's near and dear to my heart. You know me, Jamie. I like to buy, sell, trade. I like to move. I hate lazy leagues. I hate lazy managers. I hate just sitting on teams. I like active managers like you, Bronson. So if there's ever a league out there, if you're looking for a league, come find me or Jamie. We would love to have you. Here's another active manager question, which I enjoy. Same premise. He's got Cup. He's got DJ Moore and Daniel Jones. Do you package that for JSN? What do you think, Jamie?
Well, yeah, that's I just mentioned. So like
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, adding him, if he's on your bench and you have a top quarterback already, like Allen or someone like that, you just put him in as a throw-in. So yeah, do it.
Keep the questions coming. We're on the betting part, so we're almost done. So we're gonna keep going while you guys have questions.
So also for the Thursday night game, I want to mention that Waddle is dealing with some kind of a shoulder injury. I do think he plays, but I also like Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown. It's at a plus odds at plus 175, and I even bet that in a parlay with James Cook touchdown. James Cook touchdowns at minus 175. So it boosts the odds to a plus 330. So go ahead and take the Tyreek touchdown and the James Cook touchdown. I also like Tyreek over 6 catches, and I wouldn't even bat an eye if Tyreek got over 90 yards, 90 to 100 yards. So you could even bet that. So if you're hearing this before the Thursday night games, go ahead and put that in for a few bucks. Let's see. I got a few others, but they're not set. So we got a question.
Lollygagger back in the chat. He plays in our 32 team league. I believe this is him. That one we play where you automatically get a quarterback and it's in your flex. He's asking a rest of the season question. I'll let you take it.
So this is fun. This is a fun question. I was off Tyreek Hill at his ADP. He was going right around Higgins, right? And right now with Joe Burrow out for almost the rest of the season, at least 12 weeks. If you look back when Jake Browning was quarterback in 2023, T. Higgins only had 2 games from week 12 to 18, 2 games with were starting within the top 10. The rest were outside the top 30. I don't even think he hit 10 points in the rest of those games. And then you look at last week, he had caught 1 target from Jake Browning on 5 targets. Yeah, it was for a touchdown, so he got lucky. So I'm going to take Tyreek Hill just for the volume. Rest of the season, give me Tyreek over Higgins, because Higgins, I think he averaged back in 2023 with Browning, he was wide receiver 28 on average. So yeah, give me Tyreek Hill.
Follow-up question from same owner. Jake Browning or Carson Wentz? I think I know your take, but I'd like to hear it.
Well, I know you must have been just tuning in because we did go over tight ends earlier. I listed my top tight ends from 14 all the way down to 30. And Wentz and Browning are super, super close. I'm gonna go Browning. The rankings are different than like start sits. So I did rank Wentz 1 or 2 spots over Browning. But if I had this decision, I would just take Browning just because he has the better weapons.
And one more here as far as linebackers go. This is actually a smart one here.
Yes.
The question is, who do we want for this week? So we're not on rest of the season right now. We're talking about just this week and this week alone. Do you want Terrell Bernard or do you want Dotson? So this is a case of a guy we drafted high, a guy we like, versus a guy who we weren't even sure if he was going to even start because Willie Gay was getting all the press with the Dolphins, ends up getting the green dot, and he's been productive. I don't know if you have a take here, but I'm actually going Dotson. That's what's kind of shocking about this here. I'm going Dotson over Bernard. Bernard just hasn't been hitting it. He hasn't been hitting his numbers. And, I mean, he'll bounce back, don't get me wrong. But 4 tackles last week, 3 the week before, I can do better. I mean, if you have the luxury of putting him on your bench until we see better days, Dotson right now, meanwhile, 13 tackles week 1, 9 tackles week 2. So context does matter with these players. I know the untrained eye, you want to say Bernard's so bad, but until I see it, I'm going to roll with Dotson. You, Jamie?
You know me. I was on Dotson all offseason. I think I drafted him in almost 100% of my IDP leagues. You even tried to trade for him in one of our leagues, and I wasn't giving him up because I love this guy so much. So give me Dotson.
Yeah. And then we have another question in the chat. Levante David or Dennis, or what was the other name there? The other name
over Bernard.
Or Bernard. Yeah. So these are all, Dennis is sucking down. He's taking in a lot of David's play. And then you have Bernard. As I mentioned, Bernard, I'm a little bit worried about Bernard right now. It's just I need to see that he can do what he did 2 years ago. But between those players, between all of those guys right there, you're I got them all after 20, shockingly. I'm going to still stay David. I like David. I'll give you David first. I'll give you Dennis second. I'll give you Bernard third. Even though in my mind, I really want to say David, Bernard, Dennis. I'm just going off of production right now. But David's your clear-cut one for the time being. But he hasn't played. If you pull David numbers up, he hasn't played like his typical self. He's got 100% snaps last week, 2 tackles. But the week before, 100%, 9 tackles. So just be mindful. This stuff's going to change week to week. I don't really get into rest of season stuff. I had a lot of those on the last podcast I was on. I don't get into it until about 3-4 games into the season. We start compiling data. Right now, it's more like guesswork, who we think, who we like, who we're going with. But that's an excellent question too. But yeah, I'd go David out of that group.
Yeah, right now you just gotta go week. You just gotta go week to week right now until we actually get that data. And that even going after that, it's also going to change week to week.
Mm-hmm.
So for another betting line, I was looking at some data. The receiving lines aren't out yet for this one, but CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they're facing the Bears. The Bears, right now, they're dealing with some injuries, right? They've given up the most fantasy points to wide receivers. So Lamb has a strong target volume already. And this is seen as one of the best matchups for him so far. So I am going to take whatever yards they put. I'm taking the over for Lamb, and I'm also going to take the over on Pickens. But I'm also taking the over on Lamb's catches. So whatever they set that line, just remember over on Lamb, over on Pickens. What do you think about that for the Bears versus the Bears?
I didn't see that coming on the Pickens part. I was with you the whole way, but I guess that makes sense when you rationalize that. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Pickens is going to get those long touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Pickens, I'm not taking the catches. Yeah, so like the catches for Pickens, I don't know, but I can see him getting the yards. But Lamb, the volume and the yards are going to be there.
It's my metrics. That's Trey Hendrickson. Weeks 1, 75% of snaps, 1 sack. Week 2, 72% of snaps, 1 sack. He's the sack leader from last year. He's getting the Vikings right now. You have Carson Wentz and a bad offensive line of the Vikings. One thing the Bengals can do very well They don't do much well, but they can pass rush, right? So, put Wentz as a sitting duck back there. I'm going to go and line him up against the best pass rusher the Bengals got, Trey Hendrickson, which, by the way, when Wentz came over to the team, it was August 24th. He hasn't even been there very long, and he's starting. So he's going to be very rusty, very inexperienced. So that's the bet I want. I want Trey Hendrickson to get a sack here. It's not out yet, guys. So just remember this. When do you think that bet will be able to be locked in? Like Friday, Saturday night, Jamie?
Yeah, you can probably check it out tomorrow or Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all premeditated early. If everything stands the reason, those are two solid ones that I feel comfortable about. And then the two game matchups, I just think it's gonna go bread and butter, what we're saying.
So I got one more for y'all.
Okay.
Drake London. She's going against Carolina. Carolina has been weak versus wide receivers, and London is going to bounce back from week 2. Like week 1, he saw 30+% of the target share. Last week, he only saw 19% because they didn't pass that much, right? So this week, I think he's going to bounce back. He's going to get that 30 to 35% of the target share. So I'm taking the over on his yards and catches when the line comes out. And we'll drop it in the chat. So if you're watching the show in the future, I'll drop these bets in the chat just to confirm.
Do you confirm what Chris Longo says, that Drake London stinks?
How does Drake London stink, dude? Explain.
Get him. Come on, Chris. Get back in the chat. You're being asked upon. And I guess we can both answer this. J.C. Horn is a pretty good cornerback. If you pull his numbers, which I don't have in front of me, he matches up against the best and he holds his own. Are you scared at all, Jamie? Are you scared that J.C. Horn's going to be shadowing Mr. London?
Well, how much do cornerbacks actually shadow? Maybe 50, 55% of the time. I'm not scared of J.C. Horn.
So if you say 50% of the time, are you worried about any of that cutting into Mr. London's time at all?
Okay, so I just looked it up. J.C. Horn shadows this year so far 38.3%. So that's nothing.
Okay. That's a good question there. I think that was our last question. You guys got any other questions?
Last year he was 93rd in shadow rate, 36.8%. So I'm not worried about J.C. Horn.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions?
We got
We're at the hour mark here.
What's up with Brian Tracy? There it is.
Brian Tracy.
Who the heck is Brian Tracy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I mean, so far in 2 games. All right, hold on. We got a couple people here. 2 games. Who's Brian Tracy? You think maybe Brian Thomas? Brian Thomas? Is that you, Ferguson?
Tyrone Tracy. It's been kind of shitty lately. So
we'll talk about them both. Tyrone Tracy, Brian Thomas.
So I'm actually going out and I'm going to buy Brian Thomas Jr. right now.
Okay.
We all know he could be a top 10 wide receiver, and he's going to positively regress back to where we were actually drafted him. I think we're taking him early 2nd round. Yeah, go ahead and buy Brian Thomas Jr. He's going to get his.
So he's a buy low candidate because of his usage. Because right now, hey, Chris Longo has a counterpoint for you. You know, we always buy these players when they're low in value. So would you buy low on Drake London? The last 2 games, just to reiterate what he's saying, been targeted 15 times game 1, only 8 receptions, 55 yards, no touchdowns. Week 2, only 4, caught 3 for 49. Are you buying in on the dip, or are you just going to say, let somebody else take Mr. London? What are
I'll
your
take
thoughts?
him. End of the year, if he could be a top,
Thanks,
put up
Chris.
top 5 numbers. I know the reception perception guy. What's his name? Matt Harmon.
Mhm.
He loves Drake London. He said, I remember I talked to him in the offseason one week, and he mentioned to me that he had Drake London 11th overall. So that means he was drafting him at the 111 over guys like the Brian Thomas Jr.'s, the Amon-Ra St. Brown. So he's going to get his, he had 15 targets. 2 were in the red zone. So that he's going to get his touchdowns. And last week, they just ran the ball so many times. They only threw the ball 21 times last week. So they're going to be throwing the ball a lot more going forward. So I'm definitely buying Drake London.
Do you trust the Bengal receivers with Browning?
So we talked about this earlier a little bit. What did I mention? I mentioned that T. Higgins, he caught 1 of 5 targets, but that one catch was for a touchdown. So I think you could sell Higgins right now just because of the box score off that one touchdown. If you look back at 2023, he had 2 games with Browning from weeks 12 to 18 as a top 10 wide receiver, but the other games he had were way outside the top, 40, 50. So it's hit or miss with him, and I'm not going to trust him. Even Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase only had 1 game back in 2023 with Browning that was a 30-plus point game, but every other game that he played didn't even reach 10 fantasy points. So they're going to play off each other. I don't think Browning can make Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both reliable receivers week to week. It's going to be one or the other. So I think you could probably sell Chase off of his name alone and then sell Higgins off that touchdown that he got last week.
Okay. Hey, I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for all the questions we had on this show. Thank you, Jamie. Quick shout out to our sponsors, the IDP Center, where some of you are actually in the Discord and on the page where you're seeing our work here. But if you join the Discord, you're going to get all these great rookie rankings, all these great dynasty and offensive rankings, as well as an IDP trade calculator, which is state of the art. One of the few sites that actually has this constantly going every single week. You're going to see articles like mine, the DL Stream of the Month. And we appreciate you too, Chris. Just keep tuning in. We're going to keep doing these live for the first couple weeks of the season. For you guys that are new, just want to introduce myself and Jamie where you could find us. I'm the top 4 IDP ranker on Fantasy Pros. You can see my work there. I write in every down linebacker article at the Fantasy Six Pack. I also write the safety dance, which is all the box stats, all the kind of stuff I do. Those are at the Fantasy Six Pack if you want my content. I'm also on the Fantasy and Frames show with Gary Davenport, Jorge Edwards. And then lastly, we kind of ground ourselves. We come here. We do a lot of pre-recorded, but the first couple of weeks, this has been fun. We've been doing a lot of live. So check us out. Check our workout. Keep us going. We live off of your questions, guys. The Discord link, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the YouTube page, the IDP Center. I'm going to put it there for you so that way you can get in after this. Just give me a couple minutes. Jamie, without further ado, walk us off the show. Tell the audience where they could find you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me all over Facebook. I run tons of groups with over 200,000 members. Fantasy football discussion, fantasy face-off group. You can also find me over at Fantasy Six Pack. I do their Wednesday show right before me and Steve go live over at the Fantasy Six Pack. We do the Dynasty Six Pack show from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And then let's see, what else do I do? Tuesday night cheat sheet over at Going for Two. We do a live show. And Sunday mornings, I'm here every Sunday morning before the games at Going for Two. We answer all your star sit questions. So every single one that's in the chat, we will get to them. So tune in right before the games. We got you covered.
Yeah, it's a very unique show, offense and defense. There's not too many people out there that would even dare to do that. And like I said, we're going deeper than most places. We're looking at streams instead of waivers. So again, you guys keep listening. You keep watching. We'll keep doing these shows. This is the IDP Hunter, and this is, at Jamie Perogue, and we're signing off until next week. Take care, everybody.